the Make, Share, Grow podcast. I'm artist Julie Marriott, and I created this podcast to share behind-the-scenes stories of art, craft, and the creative process. Hey guys, today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. I just wanted to take a few minutes to record a few words of encouragement for you. So consider today's episode a little pep talk for those of you who love to create, but who struggle with the idea of calling yourself an artist. Now, ever since I was a kid, I've loved to draw, to paint, and to make stuff. Artist was always a word I felt very comfortable describing myself with, and it became part of my identity within my family. Because of this, it's always seemed like second nature for me to call myself an artist. But I know that that's not the story for many creative people out there. For one reason or another, a lot of creative people feel like the title artist can't apply to them. And here are some of the common objections that I've heard. I can't call myself an artist because I don't have an art degree, because I haven't achieved a certain skill level, because art isn't my full-time job, because I don't have enough experience, because I don't make art every day, because I don't know what my style is, because my family or my friends don't get my art. Have you ever found yourself saying or even just thinking one of these things about yourself? If so, let me encourage you with this. The word artist isn't a mystical title that is always hovering out somewhere just beyond your reach. It can describe you. I believe that you should feel free to embrace the title artist if you can answer yes to just one key question. Are you dedicated to practicing your craft? I think it's helpful to think about this subject in the context of another discipline just to get some objectivity, to take yourself away from your situation a little bit and think about somebody else's discipline, like writing. So we call someone a writer who is consistently dedicated to the craft of writing. Someone who doesn't just dream about writing someday, but who actually makes the time, however great or small their life allows, to put the pen to paper. There isn't something magical that happens the moment they get published that suddenly transforms them into a writer. It's the time and disciplined dedication spent honing the words of their manuscript that have earned them that title. So with this in mind, could you actually maybe call yourself an artist? The dedicated practice of your art can look very different depending on your life situation. You might be in a place where you have many hours every week or every day to create, or maybe you're working a full-time job or caring for your children all day long and only have an hour or even a half hour here and there to chip away at your piece. Being an artist does not always have to look like actively creating. It can often look just like thinking about your art, gathering ideas, taking mental notes, or maybe notes on your phone or in a sketchbook, or even just pondering what your next move will be on your current piece. One of the biggest reasons I think we don't call ourselves artists or don't feel like true artists is because of comparison. Your journey doesn't look like their journey. On Instagram, those artists look like they're creating all day, every day, but that isn't necessarily the story. They're real people too, who have busy lives, but they have made the commitment to take time, however much time their life allows or that they choose to set aside for their craft, to dedicate to practicing their art. And I think that can be a real encouragement to us who are very busy, who only have moments every day. I know I only have a few moments every day with a newborn baby to actually be at the easel. But I am sitting and thinking a lot every day about what I am going to work on when I have the next available chunk of time. I'm actually dedicating thought and intention to practicing my craft, to planning out what I'm going to do the next time I have a little bit of spare time. Another area of comparison that it's easy to get discouraged about is that all of those other artists that you're looking at look like they have their style totally together. They're creating beautiful, consistent work that looks like it all has a consistent voice. And maybe you don't feel like you have a voice. So that means that you're not an artist. But that is totally not true. Those artists look like they have a consistent voice because of practicing. And if you dedicate the time to practice your art too, you will start to grow a more and more consistent voice. I've talked about that in another episode, so I won't go all over the idea of honing your creative voice here. But just know the key is dedication and discipline. With time, you will get more clear and your creative voice will become clearer and more obvious to the people who are looking at your work and to you too. So be dedicated, practice your art, and call yourself an artist through that process. Don't wait till you feel like you've arrived to be able to embrace the title of artist. So do your best to avoid the comparison trap and just realize that one of the beautiful things about being an artist is that an artist's life can take so many different shapes. Your work is going to look different from everybody else's because you are in a different season of life. You have a different area of passion, and you are forging your own path through small steps of creative focus, creative dedication, and discipline to doing your work. So I hope that I've been able to encourage you just a little bit to think that maybe you could call yourself an artist. You might feel more comfortable calling yourself a watercolor artist, or maybe a ceramic artist, or a collage artist, which is totally fine. But just remember, if you're dedicated to doing your creative work, you are an artist. Thank you so much for listening today. If you know somebody who would be encouraged by this episode or by any of the past episodes, would you share a screenshot of this podcast on your Instagram stories, or even just email or share the episode with a specific friend who you think would like it? I would really appreciate it. I would love to reach even more and more creative people each week with the podcast, and I would love your help in doing that. Until next time, I hope you'll continue in your own unique way to make, share, and grow. Thanks for listening to Make, Share, Grow. You can keep up with the podcast and my artwork on my website, juliemarriottart.com, and on Instagram at juliemarriottart.